What is up, you guys, and welcome back to the channel. I'm your host, Drew Hoover, and today we'll finally be talking about Aaron Rodgers and the Green Bay Packers. I know I'm late to the game, but I can't wait to get started. First, if you haven't subscribed to your Average Joe Sports Network yet, please click that subscribe button in the description below. Also, if you have any graphic design needs, Anthony Garcia is your man. His website is also in the description below, www.anthonygarciadesign.com. Now, before we talk about what's going on today, we need to talk about what happened last year. And this all started in the 2020 NFL Draft, the first virtual NFL draft, obviously due to the COVID-19 outbreak. And with the 26th pick in the 2020 NFL Draft, the Green Bay Packers selected Jordan Love, quarterback from Utah State. Now, this was shocked for many reasons. Number one, obviously Aaron Rodgers, who didn't see signs of slowing down. Number two, in my evaluation, Jordan Love is a second round pick, perhaps even third round pick. And then number three, the Packers traded up to that number 26 pick to get Jordan Love, which means they wanted him and they were willing to give up future players, future picks, to get that pick. Now, Aaron Rodgers did express his surprise to that, but he didn't seem to show any resistance at the time. Instead, he went right back to work and had a great 2020 season. In that season, he passed for 4,299 yards and 48 touchdowns, completing 70.7% of his passes, which led to his second NFL MVP season. And obviously, the season didn't go to the Super Bowl. They lost in the championship game to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, making it the second time in 2 years that they've lost in the NFC Championship game. And obviously, after that game, the Aaron Rodgers, did express that a lot of futures were in question, including his own. But the Packers tried to reassure everybody that Aaron Rodgers wasn't going anywhere. But leading up to the NFL Draft, there was tension, particularly when it came to the contract, when it came to either reconstructing his contract, which, by the way, doesn't always mean a pay cut, but a lot of times means it does, and extending his contract, which is obviously what Aaron Rodgers wanted and probably deserved after his MVP season. So, if that didn't make things worse, the 49ers had talked to the Packers about trading him. Obviously, the Packers didn't entertain it, but then it broke news. It broke in social media, and Aaron Rodgers had to hear it from the media instead of his own team that they were having the discussion, Kyle Shanahan and Matt LaFleur. So when he heard this, I feel like the camel broke its back. And then Adam Schefter broke the news that Aaron Rodgers didn't only not want to play for the Packers anymore, but planned, keyword plan, on playing with the Green Bay Packers. And so it made you wonder, where did all this go wrong? They've been together since 2005 when they drafted him. He's been playing for them since 2008 after Brett Favre retired for one of those many times. And so makes you wonder, how did they get up to this point? Well, when I evaluate this, when I see tension between two sides, I can't help but think of TV and movies. That's just the way my mind works. I like sports and I like watching TV and movies. I did it when I was, homeschooled, and then when I went to college, been watching Netflix and Hulu. And one of the TV shows I binge watched was the TV show Friends from the 1990s. And so, when I think of what's going on here, I make this unusual parallel. And please bear with me when I try to explain myself with this. I think what's going on here is somewhat what happened with Ross Geller and Rachel Green. Again, this sounds really weird, but please wait to hear my explanation. First of all, who's who in this situation? Now, when I make these comparisons and I talk about certain scenes, the roles might be reversed, but mostly I believe that Aaron Rodgers is Ross Geller in this situation. probably because they're the ones that put a lot into the relationships. Aaron Rodgers obviously won them the Super Bowl and Super Bowl 45. Then, like I said, the multiple MVPs. And there's been a lot of times throughout the years that even when they didn't have the talent, that Aaron Rodgers, on his back alone took them to the postseason. You talk about the incredible Hail Marys that he's done. The one to Randall Cobb to beat the Bears to win the NFC North. The one against the Giants also to Randall Cobb. Richard Rodgers to the Lions. The double Jeff Janis in the Arizona Cardinals divisional round. So he's done a lot for this team and really put the team on his back. And you look at Ross Geller, I'm not an entertainment guy. I don't listen to all that stuff. But I will say in the beginning that Ross Geller was actually a pretty decent boyfriend. He was a good husband, even though the wife turned out to be a lesbian. And then Ross Geller, ended up with Rachel Green, who he had a crush on since his high school days. And, he put a lot into that relationship. You talk about one of his first dates was at the planetarium with the stars, with the picnic and stuff. He went all out. And he really supported Rachel, especially when she quitted her coffee house job and started working in the fashion business. Now, I feel like this is where the tension begins, and also the parallel of Rachel Green and the Packers organization begins as well. Why? Well, Ross Geller was committed to the relationship, but Rachel's priorities changed. As much as she wanted to be committed to Ross like he used to, her priorities changed to being about her job and getting the job done. Now, with Aaron Rodgers, he is obviously committed to the Packers, but as much as the Packers want to be fully committed to Aaron Rodgers, they also have another commitment, which is to make sure that they build the entire team. In other words, making sure that there's other needs being met within the organization. And, I just feel like, going back to the NFL draft with Jordan Love, I feel like this conveyed a message that the Packers did not intend. And going back to the Friends TV show, the relationship between Ross and Rachel almost started earlier than expected. If you're a Friends fan, then you remember the episode, the one with the list, where Chandler recommends Ross to write down a pros and con list of whether or not to be with Rachel. Obviously, he chose to be with her, but then Rachel found out about the list and starts reading off the cons that they had written down. And then they get to that scene in Monica's apartment where she's expressing, imagining thinking the worst things about yourself, and then realizing that the one you trust the most not only thinks that about you, but uses them as reasons not to be with you. And leading up to the NFL draft, Aaron Rodgers had expressed that he was going to play for another 5 years. So it wasn't just the drafting of Jordan Love, it was the timing of the drafting of Jordan Love. Drafting Jordan Love after Aaron Rodgers had said he's going to play for another 5 years sends a message that the Packers believe the contrary. That they believe that Aaron Rodgers' time is getting to an end. They don't have much time. So they drafted Jordan Love as a precaution for the time that Aaron Rodgers decides to depart. And, Jordan Love gets his time to take over the franchise. And so, again, that's not the message that they plan to convey to Aaron Rodgers, but that's what they did. And it didn't help that even after the 2020 NFL MVP season that he had, that he's still having these contract disputes. That even though he deserves an extension, and even though he's saying he's their quarterback, for some reason they're still having these contract negotiation holds. And also when you talk about the rumors about the 49ers and the Packers, I think back to the one with Ross and Rachel taking a break. Now, obviously Ross tried to get on the phone and try to mend things, trying to say, hey, we love each other. We can make this work. But then here's Mark in the background. Mark, who got Rachel the job, and he's always constantly been jealous of. And so when he hears that, with the context, he goes to the wrong conclusion, thinking that Rachel's already moved on, and therefore hangs up the phone and throws himself into the arms of another woman. Again, the Packers never intended on drafting him to the 49ers to begin with. But like I said, because of the way that Aaron Rodgers had to figure that out, he obviously decided to take matters in his own hands by letting it be known that he wasn't going to play with the team anymore. And so the question becomes, can they resolve their issues? The Packers seem to be very confident enough, and at least that's what they're conveying to the public, that they're going to be very committed at bringing Aaron Rodgers back to the organization. But it makes me wonder if they're already too late. There have been former teammates of Aaron Rodgers that have said they're confident that these issues can be resolved. John Kuhn, James Jones, Aaron Hawk, they've all said that this is a fixable situation. Well, there was also friends of Ross and Rachel that believe that they could fix their issues. And one with the morning after, when Ross and Rachel finally get to hash things out and and work out their issues, their four friends, Joey, Chandler, Monica, and Phoebe, were all trapped in Monica's bedroom to obviously avoid the awkward situation that was going on. So they stayed in there, waxing each other or eating wax, whatever. But then finally, after hours, they start to ask themselves the question: can they fix it? Can they get through this? And obviously, they're looking at themselves going, oh, of course they can. They're Ross and Rachel. A relationship that anything can be broken. But then they start to maybe accept the reality of what if they can't fix it? What if they can't get through this? And like I said, as much as they're close to Aaron Rodgers, and like I said, they have their input, that they have a side of Aaron Rodgers that no one else can see. But at the same time, you gotta be wondering if they're in denial at this point and thinking that the Packers and Aaron Rodgers can resolve their issues. And maybe we all have to accept the reality that this is coming to an end. As much as the Packers are going to beg Aaron Rodgers to stay, I don't think he's going to. I think to Ross being on his knees, begging Rachel to forgive him, and Rachel said, all I can picture is you with that other woman. And I think all Aaron Rodgers can picture is Jordan Love constantly being over his shoulder. And like I said, even though the Packers keep reassuring him that he's their quarterback, like I said, the fact that they drafted Jordan Love, the fact that even after all that he's done for the franchise, especially this last year, has to fight to get a contract finalized, the fact that he has to hear from somebody else that there was even, a possibility of him getting traded. And I just don't think that can ever be out of his mind. I feel like as long as he's with the Packers, he's constantly going to be doubting their commitment to him, So, to me, I am pro Aaron Rodgers. I don't think what the Packers have done is wrong. You've heard me express my disdain for their decisions, particularly in the NFL draft. I feel like they really could have helped Aaron Rodgers in drafting a weapon earlier on. And so I feel like at this point, the best thing for Aaron Rodgers is to find somewhere else. I am rooting for the Denver Broncos with this one. When you talk about Vic Fangio's defense, you talk about the edge rushers with Von Miller and Bradley Chubb. You talk about how he's stacked that secondary through free agency and the NFL draft. And obviously the offensive weapons, Cortland Sutton, Jerry Jeudy, Noah Fant. He's got a good backfield with Melvin Gordon and now Javonte Williams from North Carolina. And so I feel like that's the best situation for them. Whether it's like Tom Brady, where he wins right away the Super Bowl, or maybe Peyton Manning, who also went to the Broncos. Maybe it takes a few years down the road. But I feel like if he goes to Denver, I think eventually he'll finally win another Vince Lombardi trophy. And this has been your Average Joe Sports Network with this discussion, this segment right here. And again, this may have been far-fetched. This is where my mind goes and stuff, making unusual parallels and stuff. But like I said, Aaron Rodgers, like Ross Geller, has been committed to the Packers and stuff. But like I said, I feel like Rachel Green and the Packers organization have different priorities. And I feel like that's where I feel like, I don't think that's ever going to change. And I feel like that's why they both need to move on. And so please subscribe to the channel, like I said, if you haven't yet. And please stay tuned for future videos. Like I'll be making a video about fantasy football and who to keep an eye on when you're assembling your fantasy team in the summer. And have a good day, everybody.